We are going to get into the next video. I'm opening up my box to get started. I'm opening the tissue paper up. And the first card we're going to do is called Brown Cat. So I'm going to pull that envelope out and set the rest of these to the side. Now, when you received your box, all of your envelopes were have the back facing forward for you. So when you received your box, all your envelopes were in backside up. That way your braille was facing towards you when you received your envelope to make things as easy as possible. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. Like I said, the braille is on the back side of the envelope. That way we can identify which card is which one. So the flap on the back of the envelope, we're going to just open that up. The flap on the inside of the envelope has got that sticky sealant that you use when you're going to mail a card or whatever you're putting inside your envelope. And then we have our pieces that we're going to carefully take out. This one, you're going to have your card base, your braille greeting if you chose your braille to have a braille greeting. The background piece that feels like a half oval or half circle. You're going to have your cat, and then you're going to have your embossed greeting. And then just feel in there to make sure there's no other pieces. So this one has a smaller amount of pieces. There's your card base, your background piece, your cat, your greeting that's embossed, and then your braille if you chose the braille. So there's 4 pieces total, including the braille. So to get started, the orientation of your card is going to be the hot dog way, if that makes sense. So we've got the wider part of the card facing us on the table. Each of your items are going to have a braille marker, and it will be probably an A or a B braille cell on your every single item for each card. And this was a request that was made last quarter in April when we started to have some identifiers on the cards in each of our pieces to identify the orientation and layout. So I hope this helps. If you have another idea, we would love to hear. So first, I'm going to just get familiar with my pieces and set them down where I want them to be, and also just kind of keep them where I want to be able to use them. If you subscribed, you will be getting in the future, or maybe you got it in this box, a couple tools. One of them is actually a bookbinding tool, but I like it because it helps kind of identify our layout on the card. So it may kind of feel like a long rectangle with several holes in it that should pretty much fit the front or back of your card. And then these aren't the ones, but you'll be receiving a pair of nice plastic tweezers. So you'll receive one of these possibly. And we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to use my bookbinding tool and lay it down to kind of help with that identification. So your piece of braille is going to feel like a longer kind of rectangle with the braille on it. So I'm going to set that to the side for myself. The first piece we're going to put down is that kind of half oval circle feeling shape. It's got, I almost want to say it's kind of like a cave, if that even makes sense. But it's going to be either orange or yellow. And our braille marker is towards the top middle, like every object will be, depending on the orientation of that object. And I'm going to go ahead and start trying to peel off that adhesive backing. This one came off pretty easy. What I do to peel off the adhesive is I hold our piece kind of flat and then I try to peel back a corner to get that to come off. And so identifying where kind of the middle is on that and identifying where the middle of our card base is, I want to put the very bottom of our background piece, the kind of half circle piece, at the very bottom middle of our card. And so I'm just feeling along the bottom of the card base to line that up, to figure out where to put it down before it's all the way stuck down. I'm kind of just holding the top piece of that background and just barely putting the bottom on the card, feeling along the card base to make sure it's where I want it to be. And then almost using the bookbinding tool to help me lay down that piece to give it some pressure, using my finger along the edge just to make sure that our half circle background piece is applied. Then I'm feeling on the bookbinding tool to move it up that way. It's just past the crease on the card, so we can get our greeting on there. So next, I'm going to put my greeting on the card to make sure I have enough space. So the greeting that's embossed, it says, "Sweet friend, here for you always." What we're gonna do is find the Braille dot on there so we know where to place our greeting. And then that Braille dot, remember, is going to go towards the top middle when we place our greeting down. So I'm gonna flip it over and carefully peel back the adhesive. I'm actually gonna try to use our plastic tweezers here to pull back that backing. And that worked that time. And then I'm going to just put our greeting down. I'm looking for that middle top Braille marker, and I'm just going to put our greeting down on the card. And then I'm going to put our Braille to the side. We're going to leave it off for the moment, but put your Braille greeting on your card however you would like to. The final piece for this card is we're going to take our brown cat and place him kind of in the middle of that half oval or circle background piece. But before we do that, I'm going to feel for the bookbinding piece and put that towards the bottom of the card and kind of pull it up towards the bottom of the card, because it'll kind of hold the card in place, and then we will be able to grab the cat. The cat is embossed with black embossing ink, and the details are kind of an outline of a cat. And then the cat is holding a flower pot with a flower that almost looks like a daisy coming out of the flower pot. And then we're going to carefully pull off the adhesive backing on our cat. And I'm using our plier or tweezers again to do that. And then without touching the sticky stuff too much, I'm identifying where our Braille mark on our kitty is on the top of his forehead, between his ears, and then finding our Braille marker on that circle oval piece towards the bottom. And then I'm going to place the cat towards the bottom middle of the card. And then if you wanted to place your Braille on there, if you ordered the Braille, you could place that kind of between your greeting and your half circle. On the half circle, you put it between your greeting and the cat and have a little overlapping collage going on, or however you would like to. One last thing is on the back of your card, there's more Braille that you'll identify on the back. And it says QR or QR code because on the back of the card we have our branding on there. So it says, "Be tactile, where touch sparks creativity." And then we've got our QR code. That way, if you're gifting it to someone and they want to learn more about the program or how you made it, they can go to that QR code. Or if you have any questions, about contacting us, all of our information is in that QR code to use with your phone. So I hope you enjoyed making Sweet Friend here for you always. It was a fun card to make with you.